So today we have Elena Gladkova. I got that right?
Yes.
Cool. We're super excited to have her. Um, just a little bit of introduction. I would describe her as a really good HR leader that you want to have a good conversation about when it comes to hiring practices, candidate experience, and maybe also programs which are out there, which could also, help you and expand your career as well. And so she has been doing, and you can tell me, but based on what I've did some research, but she's doing it for a long time, HR stuff. And I say the HR stuff because she's been the chief human resources officer multiple times for multiple companies. She's also running her own hiring practice as well, and she's also a member of board of directors for a another institute as well. And so it's a really great um, hey, thank you, Elena, for giving me this opportunity to have this kind of conversation. But I always make sure I forward it to the guests to introduce themselves in case I didn't do justice.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm definitely happy to be here today. So, yes, you've tell almost everything about me. I just wanted to say that, yes, I'm leading the key people. This is a hiring company, a recruiting company that helps to connect tech talents in the US and in Europe. And when I'm not helping companies growing their teams, building their teams, I also study leadership skills in Stanford at Stanford Leads program, and I also started my podcast too. So it's gonna be the first episode is gonna be uploaded probably tomorrow. Yeah, so we're like colleagues right now.
This is super cool. Well, there's a lot to unwrap, there's a lot to talk about, and we spoke about briefly in our last conversation.
Mm-hmm,
2024, how layoffs were. We have seen that reduction. Actually, there's something new also I just realized. Is also how things are changing in companies. They're calling it efficiency at Meta as well. And a lot of other companies are following, especially with a lot of climate changes within tech overall.
mm-hmm,
Hopefully I am covering a lot of things that I don't even say, but like the new way forward. Someone like yourself who's been in HR, I guess one of the key things I've never gotten is how bad there are so many tools which are used for hiring, and it actually ruins the candidate experience. Let me share my example, and
of course.
then you can really help us out here. What's going on, and do justice to this. So there are tools I don't want to name. You go in there. They don't have candidate sometimes sorted properly. If they have, it's so messed up in terms of like you have, like, for example, I had software engineers applying for design roles.
Mm-hmm,
I'm like, why is it or not like the system should just literally parse that and be like, hey, this candidate may be good for another role, put it over there, and let's not show it to Imran.
mm-hmm,
They don't do that. The other thing I have noticed is when you have candidate in interview process, a lot of companies don't do justice in terms of giving candidate feedback. They're afraid of, if you give feedback, would that bite them, you know, in the back or
mm-hmm,
whatever the right word would be. In addition to um, the pool of candidates, there's so many, and a lot of companies are taking slow time is, you know, because there are like thousands of like I open a role, there are like hundreds of like candidates in a
mm-hmm,
span of like 2 hours. You can never do justice to go through all of them. It's like trying to find a diamond in the rough a little bit.
mm-hmm,
Um, this is like a summary I can give you. But you've been there, you've done that, you're doing that.
mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so I agree that it's a very challenging time right now for candidates, and I will try to go step by step. So first, you said, um, so the first point was that candidates. couldn't be replaced. So, what was your very first question?
So there are candidates applying for the role, right? And they're not
Uh-huh.
suited for the role, but it
Yeah.
still
So, yeah,
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, when a candidate applied for some role, we expect that them are interested directly in this role. So, the company or like any company aren't interested in just placing some person to some role. They are interested to place the perfect candidate for the place role for the perfect role. Yeah, and so maybe it sounds not that good for candidates, but if they see that they have skills or I don't know, interest in several roles in these companies that are open, they should apply for several of them. But it's also a tricky moment because usually we expect that candidate is interested in just one particular role and he has a very particular skill set and motivation to work with one stuff in your company. And that's why when you're applying for multiple roles, it seems like you're just looking for a place to, to just for everything. And it's not a great sign of motivation and I don't know, persistence and so on and so on. So that's a bit challenging, but companies interested just uh, to find the perfect one for this role, and they just don't think about should we place this candidate to another role. If the candidate is interested, um, like he, she, they should apply on this role directly. It's not a recruiter's um, job to do this, unfortunately. And the second question is not giving a feedback. So not giving a feedback is very common. And I think that is just because companies are aware of different kind of lawsuits and they don't want to spread more um, bad feedbacks from candidates because usually candidates they don't like negative feedback and they don't like honest feedback too. So companies are just trying to um, reinsure that there will be less negative information about them in the community, in the on the internet, or I don't know, like Indeed or Glassdoor feedbacks and so on. So I support the idea of giving feedback, at least some kind of a feedback, but in my practice inside of the company or as an agency leader, I see that usually it brings more suffer to both sides than help, unfortunately.
I totally agree on that part. And that was my hunch too, that that's probably the case companies don't want to, because if you do it, it's not working in their favor. And if you don't do it, it's not working in their favor either way. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, but do you think there could be something that could be taught from first principle basis where it's less of a feedback, more of a, I don't know, a different approach? So let's say if the candidate has invested enough time, but for various reasons, there are a lot of candidates that may not, it's hard to describe tangibly. Like, let's say there's a culture fit.
Mm-hmm.
There are some other secondary, when I say primary is the skill sets, the work that you do, you integrate great. The secondary is like culture fit. Maybe the personality. Maybe there's something because I've been in that shoe as well, where I have gotten feedback that like, oh, you might be this, so we need someone who is more this. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it, but I have a thick skin, so I'm okay with that, right? Do you think there could, I don't know, some possible way to make it a bit more, I don't know,
Transparent.
transparent, but also like make them understand that there are a lot of different things. It's not only because you can do certain or you can be a great coder, great engineer. It doesn't necessarily mean you may fit. There are people, I can tell you, Elena, like who would apply, they're really great, but they refuse to do s- work outside their scope. And for startups and for big companies, at times
Mhm.
their scope changes, like in months, right? Or maybe in weeks.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And a lot of folks, basically, I'm saying is like there's so many things. Do you think from first principle basis that could be rethought in a way that could become a standardized practice to help candidates?
Oof, there are a lot of questions in this one. For now, I don't see um, any trends that will increase this transparency between companies and candidates. Uh, just because of the market is oversaturated with candidates um, for some positions. And so this is like a more of a employers market, not employees market now. Yeah. And um, I think that companies also overloaded probably with this amount of candidates, and they don't think about. So there should be both sides interested in this feedback, and I don't see any. Um, I don't see any motivation for companies to do that because it's
Yeah.
probably going to bring more pain and it's going to take some time. And probably you should do this when you see that the market um, so you aren't satisfied with the quality of candidates on the market, but there are a lot of
Hmm.
great candidates, and
Yeah.
why should you give feedback to everyone you if you already have great ones? Yeah, so you shouldn't teach the market because the market learn itself
Yeah.
uh, like beautifully and adjusts to your needs. So there is no motivation from the business side. And probably there are a lot of um courses, videos, books about how to pass the interview, how to um, how to improve your soft skills interview too, how to be more I don't know, likable for the US companies because there are definitely some kind of a cultural differences for each for like if you come from different country you have different perspective of what is a great fit, what is a great culture, and even sometimes how the effective colleague will look like. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, this is very different. So the second question you've asked is about um, adjusting to changing market and adjusting to changing workload and work um,
The scope changes.
responsibilities. Yeah, or
Yeah.
different work changes. So have you faced maybe you have some kind of a case in this field that you want to share about it? I mean, someone when a, your candidate declined new workload or new scope.
I've definitely had like in all of the companies I've worked in, I can talk about the older ones as well.
Uh-huh.
We had a candidate, they got hired as a PM and they were doing the work and you need to do what you need to do as a PM. But then came a point that we really needed that person to step up and learn SQL. Company
Mm-hmm.
said, go ahead, do this. We're giving you the resource, do it. That person never learned. In fact, pushed back, we should hire a data analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, geez, just learn it. Like, nothing is gonna happen, right? A, it's gonna increase your skill set. Number two, I think it will only help you becoming self-sufficient. And what ended up happening, that person didn't do it. Sooner or later, it was like 4 months down the line, when the
Mm-hmm.
company went through reorg, the first person to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can tell you what I went through. In my last two companies, I was hired for different roles. One was product, one was design, different companies. And guess what happened? My scope became larger. So that's a good
Mhm.
thing. It's not a negative thing. I ended up managing a product team and a design team. And then soon my team was like bleeding to like managers and then like their own, team. I'm like, you have to scale up and you learn those skills. So the companies provided that. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I've seen folks, within my peers, within the same company, outside the company. I want to also make sure I'm not, being too like straight shooter that way damage anyone. Um, i- there are people around me, even my close friends, that like, it's not my job. And I'm like, that's good. I understand, respect it. Maybe it's not the company for you then as well. If you want to grow, I haven't
Yeah.
seen any company which hasn't gone through that. And Facebook is a good example. OpenAI is a good example. Scale AI is a good example. Like, that's my thought set. Again, I'm a could be an anomaly. So
Um, I think that it's a good point for everyone to understand what is their goal and what is their I don't know, passion, and what is their um, ideas of future. Yeah. So sometimes it happens that some of the employees they just don't like doing this stuff, and they are pretty honest with themselves, and maybe it's really good for them to leave the company. If they It's okay, it's definitely,
yeah,
it's sometimes it's even better if they will be fired and they will find a better place where they will be more happy and they
yep,
won't stick to this company to death. Sometimes people are so afraid of changes that they're just trying to keep the stability and status quo until their depression and burnout and so on. So it's definitely great if this person is honest with themselves and they understand that they can find something new, something better that will fit their interest. Maybe they want to learn something, but not what your company was asking for, and that's
yeah,
fine. But if it's the case that the employee just um, think that they can things that they can, I don't know, not change at all,
mm,
and not study anything, and that will be fine. Probably it's not. So this market that we're seeing right now, and all of the trends, they show that we should study all over our lives until we're until we retire. Yeah, because
yep,
technologies are changing, requirements are changing, and you will be always in the process of studying, and you better accept it and embrace it as fast as you can. Yeah. And you when you're hiring for your company, you also can add this as a skill to check during the interview, um, like flexibility of the candidate, willingness to study something new, willingness to change the scope, and so on and so on, because usually people can share this during the interview. Are they ready? Are they looking in some directions, or they're looking into another direction, so on and so on. So when you have 9 levels of interviews, probably you will have some time to ask about it. Yeah,
yeah,
in different dimensions. If you understand that your company is very flexible and you need the person because I've worked for a very fast-paced company for a long period of time, and we pivoted our ideas and products very often. So when we were hiring people, we were hiring only those who are ready for this regular hurricanes.
yeah. No, and I think like I agree with you. I think like there is a natural progression, right? Like that's the only way you can have a successful career.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. But sometimes, for example, I know some engineers that are pushed by their um, employers, especially if it's not a big company, in a management role. And I've
yeah,
seen this for like 100 times. And this person, they just pushed by society that that they need to to um, grow by their career ladder, and but they don't want to do this. They hate hate meetings. They hate doing all this like one-on-one stuff and
Yeah.
talking, yeah, and they just want to write the damn code, yeah. So they want to create something themselves, and this is just their dream job. And when they accept this offer, usually there is a struggle both sides, and it ends up not very well. So if the person is honest with themselves and they understand that it's not my piece of cake, it's not my cup of tea, I just don't, I want to grow maybe to the architect level. In
Yeah.
this company doesn't have this open position.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better to leave the company and just go for another opportunity.
And either like sometimes it's like I've seen some companies when they don't have certain like system design or for engineers specifically,
Mm-hmm,
they would then make sure they open that role technically. So what they would do is like start doing the job
mm-hmm,
and they're gonna be like, oh, I'm already doing, so I can start owning it. And they craft their own way. And I realized like um over the last 7, 8 years, it has become like a new role called distinguish engineer. They don't manage, they don't do anything like management, but they do
mm-hmm,
every time coding. They're like in different projects because they're super icy.
mm-hmm,
And I think that's what you're saying, and I'm like that is the kind of trend where we're heading towards also. Like even for myself, I
mm-hmm,
actually did one thing, Elena. I actually paved the way for people to be managers and people to be super ICs.
mm-hmm.
Because there are many people who don't want to be like managers and they just want to be
Yeah,
like,
sure.
right? And so now a different question. Now I'll jump to a different, we talked about candidate
Good,
experience. We
good.
talked about, I have something interesting one. Um, we'll put it on. So I recently came across this X post which said the only way you can, if you want to have a good career, or like
Mm-hmm.
I think something like that. I forgot who it was. I posted it, then I removed it because I got a couple of comments and I was like, "Ah, I'm not in a mood to fight." But then I'm like, I rather end this it. That post said that if you want to have a good career, like get up the ladder or anything, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a picture which said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, office, 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 office.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it too.
Um, I am pro that side. Um, I guess an open forum, your thoughts on remote versus
Mhm.
being in office. Companies are moving back to on-site. I'll just leave it like that, and you can like comment your views, and then we can take it from there.
Oh, this is I'll be on a more diplomatic side of this question because it's more like a religious question right now about the
Yeah.
remote job, like a political or religious. Um, I should say that I studied this question in December very intensely because I was preparing my project for Stanford about that. And it seems like there are data that supports both sides. It's just
Hmm.
different. So the seems like there are really good studies that show that your productivity um, won't drop, and you can maintain a very great level of productivity while working remotely, and especially for those roles that aren't in innovation. Yeah, so
Hmm.
if you're doing more like a regular job, your amount of time that you spend on the real work is more than the amount of time when you're going to office, because you need to commute, you need to have this cooler chats and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Yes, so, to talk with colleagues and other stuff. But there's also other data that shows that probably the amount of patent citations and patent like creations here in Silicon Valley is really very um, connected with the amount of time these people are spending together in one not area but in one room.
Yeah.
So if you're creating something new, it's better to be near each other. And yeah, so, and there is also another kind of data that shows that the mental health issues started right away as the lockdown was mm, there was a lockdown here, and it increased with this remote work. But I'm not really sure for now. Is it just only by the remote work, or, for example, it's because it was not only remote work, but you should spend too much time in a, like in your own apartment without other social connections. So this lockdown, it shows that uh, we're very social creatures, and that our mental health is so dependent on the amount of communication in real life communication, that for some people that maybe they were in the beginning of their careers, like juniors, yeah, or like just after the graduation, and for example they've changed their city to for their gym, so they don't have any real social connections, and they're in the beginning, so they're in a real problem, yeah, so they don't have
Hmm.
anyone, they don't have friends, they don't have probably family yet, and they don't have opportunity to interact with other people. So yeah, so this is like a social question right now. At the same moment, I understand that the amount of time that people are commuting to their work is also like our lifetime, and I just saw how the amount of traffic increased for like during the last year. It was
Yeah.
such a perfect roads in the Bay Area, and then it just ended.
Yeah.
So yeah, and oh, I'm like pissed off if I need to go to some place, and I realize that usually regularly it takes me like 20 minutes to go there, and then it's like 1 hour because you're standing in this traffic jams. Yeah. So, and from the point of the career, uh, definitely when you're interacting with other people, you're probably more visible. So it's one of the most important things to for real to have a promotion, is to be noticeable, and to share some ideas, and to be liked by those who have power in your organization. And if it's really hard to be noticed if you're new in the company, for example, and you everyone is on the remote.
I, actually, that was a really good diplomatic answer. I cannot tell you what side you picked. I can tell you this for sure. That was a good damn answer. Now I feel
Thank you
like
so
I
much.
picked the other side. Now I can't pivot back. This is a really good answer. So I will say this to some points that you mentioned. So my current company is 5 days in office.
Mhm.
And since when the hell was COVID? 2020,
Yeah.
2025, 4 years working from home. I started going in my last company to the office as well.
Uh-huh.
And I really miss my coworkers working with me. Here's my take, honest take.
Yeah.
If you're in a big company, your visibility sucks when you're remote.
Yeah.
It really sucks. And that's from my side. So you can tell me from the HR side, like it's very hard to build those connections. It's really hard to show your productivity. The only way you show your productivity is how much you ship. Now, guess what? Your shipping stuff requires engineers, designers, product managers, some random marketing person, some random, keep adding people. And it takes a whole village in big companies. So visibility was tough. Then post that, then I joined a different company, Zinca. Over there, we were halfway in office if you want to come. They were encouraging, giving free lunch, all that good stuff. I'm like, "Hey, great, I'll go. I don't have to think what I need to eat." I enjoyed there. And that was because I could say, show my face,
Mhm.
understand people. Like this kind of conversation, though I'm thinking to go with the podcast to be in person. But I think this kind of conversation, if we were in person, would be very different, would be very vibrant. Versus this is like, hello, hi. You say something, I say
Yeah,
something.
sure. When you're in one room, it's really easier to make the chemistry work, and like you feel other people better. But at the other side, if these people are toxic,
Oh,
it also
that's
gives you
true.
some
So,
bad
so,
energy. So sometimes
it,
I'm happy that that I'm like far away
so,
from someone.
so my idea for that is like if they're toxic, I just know who I don't need to meet immediately versus like through video chat, you can't really know if they're like backstabbing you. You know, that's corporate culture, whatever.
Mhm,
Now with my new company being on site 5 days, the whole team is on site. We're hiring people in San Francisco. I'll be honest, I think it's different. It's exciting. It's a startup. It's growing, and I think that I personally resonate with. I think if this very company or a company of the same size or whatever were to be remote, I don't think so. They will progress fast. You have to be a on hands-on leader in some specific way, versus like when I'm sitting across and it's like collaboration on the spots. CEO has an idea. They come to talk. I'm like, great, we can execute, do it. Versus if this was online, let me schedule a Zoom meeting. And then
mhm.
some guys yawning, some guys just woke up, some guys like sick in the middle of the day. Over here, it's very asynchronous. That's my take. Again, I can't go back to, I think working from home was great. It was exciting. Social animals that we are, I think it's not lucrative for long term. Maybe one day you can have, one day a week you can have work from home. That's my
Uh,
thought set, but curious to hear your response.
Yeah, so when we look at the data, we can see that there are pretty successful companies on the market that work fully remotely, like GitLab,
Mm,
like Zappos probably, like Coinbase. They're fully remote, and there
yeah,
are so there are a bunch of companies that work like mixed, so they have some offices in some areas where people
yeah,
go there and in different ways, so they can like 3 days in the office, or like 5 days in the office, and some of their employees are remote because they're very important for this company, and they okay with them staying there. Some kind of companies are more strict, and almost all of the giants of tech giants, they decided to switch to at least 3 days in the office policies. Yeah, and I think that all of the types can work. It really depends on what product do you deliver. So if you're
hmm
doing some like Apple, if you're creating
yeah,
a real phone, yeah, and a real, I don't know, glasses, and
yeah,
so on, at least there should be a team that will work with this laboratories, like tests, everything, and so on. But should your support team, for example, be on site? I'm not sure. Like as a company, you can save so much money if you put this support office and some teams that can be like widely spread around the world. Yeah, and it will work well. So I think that we should take a look at the logic in each decision, should not to be too strict that we should do only this or we
mm,
should do that. So I understand why you're supporting this idea of working in office that much, because probably you're more an extroverted person, and you're yeah, or maybe in the middle or not.
no, 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 no. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
an
So probably
extrovert.
you're more extroverted. So
Yeah.
you're in high demand of this communications of I don't know, like jokes and connections and so on. But aren't aren't all people like that? And
Yeah.
or all people aren't like that. And at the same moment, we should take a look at, for example, um, paternity maternity leaves.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a huge problem in the United States. So everyone is talking about, oh, our demographic is not that great, that probably there's going to be a population decline, like Elon
Yeah.
Musk talks about that a lot. At the same moment, nothing helps. Nothing helps with all of this maternity uh, huge work there, and nothing supports it. So it's just ridiculous. I don't know. I came from Europe, and just to see that you only have like 3 weeks of
Yeah,
maternity leave, that is like um, the governmentally requirement. Governmental requirement. It's just insane. It's just unbelievable. It's unreal. So if you are in that in this kind, if you're in this tough conditions, that you should choose between your career and planning parenthood, probably when your rent is costs like almost 50% of your salary here,
yeah,
you will wait for some other period of time. Yeah. So and I think that remote work gives such a lot of opportunities for those mothers that are willing to work, or the fathers that also want to see their like small baby grows and help
that's true.
their wives. Yeah, and it also matter like, and I think that maybe companies could be more flexible for those who are. Oh,
Do you,
yeah.
f- you touch on something very interesting, like kids, right? So do you think like that could also be a little bit bad for like let's say a single parent to be working from home, or like how can they spend time with their kids as well? Because they're working and the kid needs something, assuming their kid is not going to their school now. But I'm just thinking of like the opposite effect, that if companies do this, then every parent is like, now I can spend time with my child.
uh,
Yeah.
but if you work from office, you will have less time to spend with your child, because you'll need to commute, and you need to um, just to find the decision where to uh, put your child and your baby or like your kid
Yeah.
for these 8 hours per day. And kids, they can get like ill, and it's a common idea. It's a normal, yeah, for their beginning of the life. And what should parents do? So there aren't a lot of good kindergartens, and it's like too early for like 3 weeks baby to go to a kindergarten. Even
Yeah.
not 3 weeks, like 1 week is just
Yeah.
unreal. Yeah. So, and I think that there are more problems with this disability to work remote. So at least I think that should be our at least 6 month maternity leaves. This is just at least, and then maybe some flexible work schedule, and the ability to work remotely for uh, mothers and fathers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some period of time at least. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you put it that way, I do support that. I think those who need it, really, they should definitely have it. Um, Companies definitely should be flexible for those. And those, like who want to be in office, I guess they could like also build a healthy balance. Like if you have kids, like Google, they had a daycare, and I think they still have a daycare at work. So I think
I don't
like
know. Maybe
I think that they introduced this was a long time. I think they still have it or something, but they would have daycares.
I haven't heard about it a lot, to be honest. And
Like some
mm,
companies also like pay out for daycare support or something because it's expensive.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
comes
and
to a Mhm.
this is interesting that those companies that already pay high salaries, that they support this daycares idea, but usually those companies that pay lower salaries, they also they don't support any kind of like daycares and nannies and so on and so on. So yeah, this is a huge question, and you can't just cover everything with money for some period of time. You just need their parents' time and place, that they shouldn't be forced going to work, going to, because their
Yeah.
schedule is unpredictable. Yeah, and it's just the best that you can offer them. And I think that some companies, like I don't remember, like Netflix and Google, they have better options for their young parents. And it's also a pretty logical way and stuff that the government should think about, because when workers don't make babies that should grow up in other workers, it will be a pretty dramatic retirement for us, because there's not going to be a lot of taxpayers that should support our like wealthy retirement, let's say.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
so
actually true. That actually is true. Wow. I never think it from that angle. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
when you
really
put it
important.
that way, you see, that's the part. I'm not HR, and that's why we need HR. Um, and you're bringing valid concerns that I think companies may. I think there should be a way that, there was this company that came out from Y Combinator years ago. I forgot their name. I think they were called AnyPerk, and it
Mhm,
was like they would have companies, pay. And then what they would do is like, now you have this a nice pool. So now these companies, like their employees can get, some discount for bills or something free because now they have this pool. You know how pretty much like medical, you
mhm,
have a medical pool and then you have your own company specific pool.
mhm,
If you're not that for a certain size, so you're going to pool. So it was something like that. And I think you can have multiple tech startups who are doing decent to be like pay their fair share and like have this, kind of flexibility for parents, affordability, plus raising a child in the Bay Area is like, yeah, you should be wealthy. But pivoting
yes.
from something from there, um, I have one question, and then I want to jump to Stanford aspect of things. Um, what are some things from your perspective, like you're an HR person, that you would say, like, Imran, we should be seeing more of this happening, seeing 2023 layoffs, seeing 2024 markets, seeing so many different things. Like a lot happened in 4 years. I don't know where the hell did they go. We went from remote to layoffs, to more layoffs, to salary reductions, to probably alien invasion, if that's going to happen. What would you recommend someone who has seen all of it? I'm just putting it very nicely because it was a very dark period in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, what would you recommend? Like Imran, I think as an HR person, this is my thoughts on how things should be going forward.
Um, so from the candidate's perspective, I think that we should be prepared for the entropy. Yeah, so changes, they are becoming faster, and there'll be a ton of changes that happening all over the world, and they will mix with each other and influence each other in some unpredictable ways. So I've never like I couldn't believe that I would like leave my life through last 5 years. I mean, when I was like 5 years ago, if you would ask me what could happen, like the pandemic, wars, like immigration, or
Yeah.
and mm, all of this stuff in the US about election, like polarization, and everything that happens in other regions, I would say like, oh no way! It's just a bad movie script that is oversaturated with some with some generic moves. Yeah, so and it's happening, and like
Uh,
AI, oh for sure, I forgot about
oh
this.
yeah.
Like madness, and no one even knows is it going to be a bubble, or is our future that is like running into our face and we don't understand what to do, like should we run away or should we embrace it? So yeah, and I think that we should accept that the information overload is going to be only increasing, and that we should prepare ourselves for this, and just to turn on our critical thinking and try to not to get involved too much into this waves of distraction. Just yeah, keep we should um, collect those data and this and information that is really important, and just everything else will just go with the flow, and we should be prepared for changes. So I think that everyone should expect that they're going to be laid off. Not because they're bad workers, just because
Yeah.
company will lose their funding. Yeah, because or just because some political regulation. Like I imagine those feelings of mm, workers in TikTok. Yeah, what they were feeling during the last week, and for
Yep.
everyone else, it was just a small news, like not that small, but interesting news in their field, in their feed,
Yeah.
and like they scrolled it away. But those people, they're really nervousing. Yeah, so they were really nervous about this, and um, we just need to be prepared that today or tomorrow is going to be the last day at this work, and uh, uh, not to be paranoid, but always be prepared for changing their
Yeah.
employer. And uh, as we've talked about this previously with you, I said that you should spend like 3 to 5% of your time each month, each week, for looking for new opportunities. So prepare yourself for new opportunities. Like be prepared for the interview. Always update your CV, and it's better to do this while you're like finishing some cool projects, and you
Yeah.
like have some data, and you can just write it down and not worry that you will forget something
Yeah.
important when you need it. You always should make connections with recruiters, with potential referrals in some interesting companies. You should visit networking events. You should get some certificates or courses that are like trending, and that in your career pattern further. Yes, so probably you should have a mentor or two. Those could help you in growing. Where you going to go? And yeah, so this is pretty much everything that you need to do. And just to understand that part of this is the part of your job right now. So
Yeah.
there's no job security for at least, I don't know, like 5 years or
Yeah. Seeing how things are. Well, hoping things don't go that way. But yeah, if AI is gonna disrupt SaaS, or the operator came out, don't want to make it an AI conversation, but like those things aren't gonna I think they will reduce the job, not take someone's job.
maybe they will open more opportunities. We don't know. Yeah, so there were already a lot of previous technological revolutions, and all of them created more jobs. But we don't know how will it go with the AI, but definitely people should be prepared to learn something new, and just embrace this change and not to be surprised, because what was the greatest surprise and upset with these layoffs is that they're like out of the blue. Yeah, so people and those employees of big tech, they felt like these companies like their family, they're like their, I don't know, maybe their parents, because they all like they're we're so supportive. They're just like um hipster cafe in each
Mm,
office. Yeah, so they were so tolerant and so on. So you just can't expect that this level of nursery could could show the other side of total, I don't know, ignorance. And it's just how these layoffs were conducted. It just horrible
yeah.
for me. So and yeah, so there were a lot of stuff that it was just a I don't know, so a disappointment. Yeah, I should say disappointment. So people who were too, so these companies, they translated uh, a very different message. So they were saying like, we're good, like we're gonna take care of you. Here is like all of the benefit package. It is so wide, yeah, you know, it's like almost all of your life can be covered with our benefit package, yeah. And at one day you just can't open your laptop. It's just a huge disappointment and
Yeah.
a bad surprise. So uh, I think that from that day, uh, everyone now understands that business, it's not your family. It's not someone who will always take care of you. And and I understand businesses at the same moment. I just think that these procedures of laying off were conducted awfully. Yeah, so they could try to help themselves with better PR at least. Yeah, and to transfer this message about layoffs less dramatic. And
Yeah. No, no, no. And it's like I guess it's hard to be in both shoes. Like I used to think like companies can do better, but I feel like I understand their pressure, the investors' pressure, because I've been on both sides too much, and I guess this is my diplomatic answer. I hope the market gets better. Which
yeah, and
tones down.
you know, I agree what we're talking about, that the investors pressure and so on. Uh, but at the same moment, you are the one who, like the company and the company owner, the company board of directors, are the ones who are making the real decisions. And it just so at least you could as I said previously, yes, you understand that these layoffs, they are inevitable. Yeah, so you just need to do them, but you can do them differently. So at least it's just for me it's so rude not to tell a person that they're already laid off, and that they can't even say bye to their colleagues, and just they just can't log into their laptop. It's just so rude, yeah. And I couldn't believe that some company like Google could do it that badly, you know, because I also had this impression that, oh, Google is like a they have this godish heavenly policies and processes. They and then oh no, they don't. They don't.
I I guess when you pass certain size, it's hard. I'm just thinking like
Yeah,
how
yeah, I know it's hard. Yeah, but
they need to
uh
have better systems. When you open your laptop, they say you have 2 days. You're getting laid off.
you have a manager, and the manager should tell it.
Well, even the manager got laid off. So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, sometimes it, but I think that it can be delivered adequately. So you
yeah.
shouldn't lay off manager before you're laying off their stuff. You know, that's
Well,
just
that's what Mark Zuckerberg is, I think, going after this year of efficiency. But I don't want to talk more about them. I want to talk about you. You're doing Stanford program.
mhm, mhm.
It's interesting. Tell us more about it, and actually tell us how other people can leverage that as well.
So yes, I'm doing this Stanford Lead program, and this is a yearly remote program that created directly for mm, increasing your leadership skills and also to develop some management, but I should say more on the leadership side. So you shouldn't be a official manager to deliver some leadership work, leadership stuff. So it's a lot about disrupting, making some innovations, and yeah, it's definitely about moving on your career ladder. So there are some specific courses that you just created uh, to tell you how can you do this. And yes, I'm studying this leadership course right now about building power to lead, and it's just awesome and eye-opening in some cases, how the system really works, not what everyone um, tells you about, but how it really works. Yeah, so it's cool. And how anyone can join this program. You can apply on it. It starts each quarter, and there are some requirements how you can apply in this program and just roll in. And there's 4 quarters, and each quarter you should take at least 2 courses to have the certificate after that. And courses are pretty intense, but I think that it's around 10 hours per week that you need to, sometimes a bit more, but
Oh, wow.
you need to cover everything.
So do you need to do like 1 quarter or is like you have to do 2 quarters? Like, are there any requirements for that to get the certification?
4 quarters, so eight
For,
courses.
okay. So a year.
Yeah, a year,
Oh,
yearly program.
wow.
Yeah, a year.
Wow.
A
And
year.
go ahead.
Yeah, so you can take less courses, and I think that you can also make some pauses during this process. But I really feel that it's easier to finish it when um, you're starting having this momentum, and it's easier to move forward because after the first quarter, which was so intense that I was, oh my God, I just can't imagine how other people that have full-time job and kids can survive through this, to be honest. But the second part is a bit easier, I think, just because the first quarter with this financial course was really intense. And then we had this holidays, like Christmas holidays. And after that, it was so hard to return to study. I mean, it's like my brain just relaxed too much. So I think that it's better to when you're not stop. So I just imagine if I will skip 1 quarter, it will be even harder. Like, oh my God, I remember how much time should I
Mm.
spend on this? Yeah, but it's really, really awesome. And it gives you a lot of great connections too, because all of the Stanford programs, they're built on, at least this one for sure, is built on like group projects. So you aren't only doing stuff on yourself, you're always in some kind of a partnership. And it's like a work simulator, and
And
you can practice different, for example, leadership styles, because it's a work simulator and that's your real job. And if your management style or leadership style isn't that great, you won't be punished. Yeah, you won't be laid off or fired after saying something. So you can experiment, let's say so. And yeah,
so are these courses like online? Because I'm looking at right
yeah,
now. Are they online, offline? You have to go to the
they're
classes.
online,
Oh,
fully.
wow.
They're fully online, but there are Stanford gatherings for those who are in a cohort or previous students, and it's like really great for those who want to build connections among, I should say, corporate leaders and managers, because there are I'm
Mm.
joking that I think that there are a lot of amount the around 50% of the course students are Googlers. Because yeah, I don't know why, but there's huge Google community there, like different level of managers, so someone's who are ready to go for a management position. So it's just very popular.
Wow, that what it feels like that those companies also have like a nice stipend, education stipend, but they even pay for your university MBAs. So I think it
Mhm.
makes sense. But this is actually interesting. And so is it only leadership's aspect only, or there are like other courses as well? Like, I don't know what else could be Gen AI or something.
There is no more technical courses there in this course. Yeah, so there's more about strategies, management style, communication style. finances, like how to um, actually count your ideas and how to show it in numbers. And yeah, so I'm gone through 4 courses. So I'm in the like i- in the middle, let's say so right now. And I see it's more like a foundational knowledges from top professors in management and in innovation, but nothing specific like AI, for example. But there are a lot of courses in Stanford for I'm not a huge expert in this area because the US after graduate system is pretty complex. But as I understand it, that you can have professional certificates, and there
Yeah.
are a bunch of courses connected to AI, and you also have this professional certificate after passing through 3 courses. So you choose 3 courses. Some of them probably um, so yeah, you can choose, and also you can have a graduation, and you can study remotely for a year. And
Hmm.
I saw the program, yes, AI related, but it's deeply technical. So it's like deep learning and all of this stuff. So it's more about mathematics than business
I,
business.
you reminded me of, I did this course, well, professional certificate, I guess. I don't know, something it was, but it was from Duke University for ML and AI. And
Uh-huh.
it's like foundation stuff. And I did, I think through, they had, I'm forgetting, it was an online platform and I did it. I thought it would be easy. It was strenuous. Like, I was like, oh my God. And I think this Stanford program that you're talking about, and I'm looking at it as well, it's, I think, 10x of
Mhm.
strain and stress that you have to go through, but it
Mhm.
sounds pretty good. Do you recommend this program like to anyone who is studying up the ladder, trying to be a
Yeah.
leader?
Yeah. And 100%, if you don't have an MBA, this is a great opportunity to build another level of connections. And I also admire the strength of the community, because those people who have gone through this program already, or those who are in, they have so many different communities. Like they have their own convention that there is going to take part in March, own gatherings, own startup accelerator. So like everything inside just to lead community. Not I'm not
Yeah.
even talking about the whole Stanford Graduate School of Business or
Yeah.
Stanford itself. So I think that one of the most important parts in this study is just stepping into the community, and study is such a great way to show real um, your personality strength. And because when you're doing all of these projects, you're like transparent for the other people and those who were been with you in these groups. And there are a lot of great people that you can study from. And I have really great classmates. And um, so yeah, so you're not just building some random connections. You show yourself as a professional, or you show yourself as a like a generous person, and so on. So it's much more deeper than when you're like just when it's just a networking event. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually super cool.
Yeah.
But I, it's okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was amazed with this because I've never studied in the US, like in the university in the US. And I was impressed with this community, I don't know, community power. And like everyone is so friendly. And when you write to someone that
Yeah.
and oh, by the way, we also have great course facilitators that are previous graduates from this course. And the like my course facilitator in this leadership program is just awesome. We had like coaching sessions, and it's just like 20 minutes that opened my eyes on some like real problems that I have. And like problems means opportunities, let's say
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, so I'm amazed with this, and I definitely think that if you're stuck on some level, and or if you want to up level your networking and knowledge base, this is going to be an amazing one, amazing course.
This is actually, I never had anyone give me so much insight on. I've learned, like, I've heard about it. Maybe I've learned about it once. Someone told me about it, but I never gone into do like understanding it. And I think this is a great program. Wow. Well, it is a great program, of course.
Yeah.
I know we have hit our time mark. I always ask all my guests, Elena, like any it's more of a like any learnings, anything that could help anyone.
Ooh, any learning that could help anyone.
Any insight? Like some, so like, it's more like, the takeaway note for anyone out there.
Mhm. Um, so what I opened to myself, I guess, previous year, and by coming here into the US, is that making connections and finding new friends is just the most important thing that you can do for your mental health, for your career, and for your development, because people are inspiring. And for those who are more on the introverted side, and I should say that I'm somewhere in the middle, so like from time to time, that it's very important to build those connections too, and just to be more concise, and to understand more, maybe more directly with whom do is it interesting for you to get connected, but just do it, just go for some conferences, talk with people, tell them about yourself, tell them what is your goals, and you'll be surprised how this small weak connections could bring you um, to some interesting future. Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you, Elena. This is actually pretty real, realist advice, or I guess the most connecting thing that you're mentioning. Especially like I think everybody talks about something, and not that that's bad, but like this one is more like should hit home with a lot of people. That's how I think about it. So, thank you, Elena, for
Yeah.
sharing your valuable time.
Thank
Um,
you, Imran. Yeah, so it was very like friendly, and it was really easy to be sincere here. So yeah, thank you so much, and I wish you good luck with your project and with the podcast, and I wish you good.
you too. I'm looking forward to watching that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.